Hello, everyone. Welcome to Movie Talk. Happy 2024. Happy New Year. I hope you had amazing holidays. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. I hope you had a good New Year. It's exciting to be on 2024. There are a lot of new launches for cinema, and it's a good feeling to look back in 2023. Of course, 2023 movies are not over because we still got the Oscars, and in the Oscars, we're gonna relive this. I'm gonna be covering the nominations, and I'm going to react. I'm going to make my tier list probably of the nominations. I'm probably going to have to watch all of the movies that come to the nomination process, like every movie that is nominated. I'm going to make a video of, oh, I watched every movie nominated, blah blah blah, whatever. But it's good to look back to 2023 and see that there were a lot of good movies. This is my last video of what I watched this month, the December edition, and I have to say it was a better month than the last month. November I watched like 6 movies. This time I watched. I do have to count it: 11 movies. Well, I'm recording this in December 29th, so yeah, I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna be out in New Year, so I'm not going to be having much time to record for in that time, and I want to release this video as soon as possible. So probably I'm gonna watch more things, but you never know. Let's go see what I watched this month, December edition, the last time in 2023. I started the month with a rewatch of It. It is this kind of stuff. I am 17 years old. I did my 17th birthday in 2023. And when this movie was released, I was 11 years old, and this movie it's this kind of stuff. It's a horror movie for this type of age. It's a horror movie for teenagers, maybe even young adolescents. It was a movie that was a big hit when I was that age, and people my age liked it, and people, of course, older also liked it. And for me, it's one of my favorites, one of my horror movie favorites of all time. It's definitely not the best. It definitely has a lot of flaws, but I still like it. It's emotionally connected to me, so I just love that movie for some reason. But yeah, it's a really well made dynamic between the group, the losers group. The design of not just Pennywise itself, but the whole atmosphere of Denver. No, it's not Denver. I forgot the name. Sorry, the city that they're in. To build up the 80s feeling, it's just so well done. The horror itself, it's well done. Also, I like the majority of the scenes. There are some that were a bit whatever, but I like the dynamic of the movie. I just simply like the movie. Then I watched The Holdovers. Already made a video about it, making a review of The Holdovers, and it was also in my top 10 best movies of the year. I made a video of my top 10, so go watch it if you haven't already. It wasn't my top 3, so I don't have to talk much about it. I just loved it. Then I watched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So I missed Mission Impossible when it was in the theaters. Not because I didn't have time, because I definitely had time, but I wanted to watch the Mission Impossible saga, all of the other movies before watching this one. And I didn't watch it, so I missed a great opportunity to watch a great film made for the theaters. Yeah, I had to watch it in my computer, so yeah, I definitely missed a lot in the experience. But overall, it's a fine movie. I liked it. I think that these action movies, are becoming more generic as the time is coming. there's just this thing that there is in every movie, every action movie, just generic things. Not just in action movies in general, movies in general, when people are pausing, looking at who knows where, just not talking to deliver the punchline. And I think this movie has too much punchlines. Like there's supposed to be these big catchy phrases that we see in like older movies, but I just don't feel like this should happen more in movies. I believe that movies, as we are coming more towards the future, movies are being more and more realistic, and I think that that is not helping people my age, younger people, to understand or develop a connection to these certain movies that it's just not how humans would react in certain situations. And I think that I know I gave this movie an 8 out of 10 still, because the action is really well done, but it's this kind of stuff that if I watched more action movies, that's the thing, I don't watch much action movies, but if I watched more, I would probably not like as much as I liked this one. Then I watched Noel. Why I watched this movie? Well, I'm sure you can guess why. It was because of my girlfriend. She forced me to watch a Christmas movie, and she told me to watch this one, and we watched it, and it was fine, I guess. It's a comedy movie. What can you expect? It has a nice premise. Not gonna lie. I liked the protagonist. I liked the actress. I think she has got a good charisma, but the movie is just not worthy. Wouldn't recommend this to any of my friends, but people who like Christmas movies, people who like comedies, they will definitely enjoy this movie. I'm just not a fan. Then I watched May December. Throughout these couple of weeks, these last weeks of 2023, May December is being a movie that is highly talked about, and apparently everyone is enjoying the movie. I saw that Karsten Runkist rated this movie 10 out of 10, and I was seeing other people like really enjoying this movie, saying that it was one of the best of the year, and I already had heard about it. I wanted to watch, but I just didn't got the vibe. I think that this movie has some great aspects, some really great aspects, like the performances, the trio of the protagonists, Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, and Charlie something. I forgot his name. Sorry about that. Charles Melton. Sorry, it's Charles Melton. Yes. I think this trio delivers amazingly, but I just didn't like the story. I thought it wasn't captivating. I didn't involve myself with the characters, and I think it was just at sometimes boring. Then I watched Priscilla. Priscilla is the new Sofia Coppola movie, and I love her work. I have watched not all of her filmography, but I have watched some movies. And the one that is my favorite is Lost in Translation, of course. I love that movie. I think it's a 10 out of 10. It's in my top films of all time list, definitely. And I've also watched Mary Antoinette, which I like it. And I've watched Somewhere, which is not a hell of a movie, but I think it's fine. So I like her work as a director. As an actress, not so much, but that is not the focus. But that is not the focus on this video, because she's not acting. But talking about acting, in this movie there is some incredible acting. I think this year is one of the best years for acting in this movie scene. Like last year in 2023, we got some really good acting in some movies. In the end, it ended up being basically just Everything Everywhere All at Once wrapping up the Oscars. But this year, I think that the fight is on. I think a lot of people can go on with the Oscar, and I think that Kaylee Spain is definitely not an Oscar contender. There is no campaign for her, and this movie in general is just not a movie that would go into the Oscars. But I believe that the duo of the main characters in this movie, Kaylee Spain as Priscilla and Jacob Elordi as Elvis, I think they are amazing. They deliver an amazing performance, both of them. And I could say that I didn't enjoy Elvis the way that was interpreted in this movie. Like in Elvis in 2022, the movie, I didn't watch it, so I don't have a reference to it. But I feel like a lot of people are getting like, this is not the Elvis that I know. But anyway, this movie is really good. I loved how Sofia Coppola directed it. I loved how she made it. She also written, so it's just her making this movie. This is her movie, and I loved the experience. I really liked the movie. It could have entered my top 10 if it weren't for some things that I don't know if it's all true what happens in the movie, but if it is, maybe just don't show some things. Like there is no reason to show some things. Like some things are just in movies just to shock or just to emit some emotion in the viewer. That sometimes it's just not needed. Then I watched Maestro. As you're seeing, I'm watching a lot of 2023 movies because I knew I would have to make my top 10 of the year soon, and I knew that the year was ending, so this is the time where most movies come out, and I still wanted to watch a lot of stuff. So in the Netflix there was Maestro, so I went to go, and it's an amazing movie. Technically, it's a gorgeous movie. The cinematography is beautiful. The actors, again, everyone is acting so well. This movie is really good. I just thought it was too long. I didn't like the editing of this film. It just didn't flow with me. It's the story. I just don't think is a story that I need to watch. I just went to watch because I knew that Bradley Cooper was making a really huge campaign about this movie in the direction area and the acting area, of course, also. And this movie is definitely going to appear on the Oscars, maybe even for Best Picture, because it's a really good movie. Like, if it wasn't for Oppenheimer, I think this would be my pick for cinematography. Maybe because of the Flower Moon still has the advantage on Maestro, but like this is a really tough contender in some technical areas. Then I watched the Dream Scenario. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about Dream Scenario, and people are loving it. And I watched this movie before I heard anyone talk, and I just don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like this is not a true movie. What I say about this is every time you watch a movie, you need to have some level of disbelief, basically. Like you need to believe that certain things are true and can happen in certain universe. And in this movie, you have to believe that a guy can enter someone's dreams, and then towards the end of the movie, everyone can enter anyone's dream, and you have to believe that. So I went for it. I went to the journey, but then through the second half of the movie, I just didn't feel like it was real. Like at a certain point towards the second half. I just didn't feel like this was a world of normal people. Like, there's no way, in my opinion, that people react like this in real life. Like, what happens in this movie is Nicolas Cage that is delivering an amazing performance. He enters in people's dreams, not on purpose. It doesn't know he is, but everyone starts dreaming about him, and then people are start to have nightmares about him, like he's killing people, he's making really awful stuff, and then people just assume like he is like that in real life, which is absurdly stupid in my opinion. And I know it's a social critic, but I just don't buy it. I just don't feel like it's real. It's not real people for me. Then I watched Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. As I've said in my previous what I watched this month, I'm making a Harry Potter marathon basically, and I'm watching in every month one movie of the Harry Potter saga. So this time was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. That is by far the best movie in my opinion, and not just the best movie, but my favorite as well. This movie is truly amazing. I love what Alfonso Cuarón makes in this movie. He's one of my favorite directors currently, and I just love everything that he makes in this movie. The only thing that I could say that I don't like is because I'm a Harry Potter fan. I've read the books. I think they don't develop as much as they should. The Marauders whole thing, and I don't like Daniel Radcliffe acting in certain parts. I think he's a really great Harry Potter. It was one of the best casting choices of all time, but in certain areas where he has to deliver more than the usual, he doesn't. So I think that's why I don't give this movie a 10 out of 10. But in my heart, it is just a 10 out of 10. Then I rewatched Wreck-It Ralph. Well, Wreck-It Ralph was one of the movies that I most loved when I was a kid. This movie was launched in 2012. I was 6 years old, and from my like 6 years old to like 10, 11 years old, I always watched this movie. I loved this movie because it's really family friendly. It's really kid friendly. I think that this movie is really great. I think that the story, the characters, all of these are interesting and captivating. But what I didn't remember was that this movie is really childish. If you're not a kid, if you're already a teenager or an adult, there are certain parts of the movie that you're not gonna enjoy because they're just too childish. And I didn't remember that, so in the past I thought this movie was a 10 out of 10. Now I don't think so. Now I think it's an 8 out of 10, but I still love this movie. Then I watched Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. You know, guys, I think everyone has watched this movie at this point, and I think everyone has hated it. Like, it's a really bad movie. I don't believe Zack Snyder went with this. Like, he wanted this to be part of the Star Wars universe. What the hell was he thinking? Everything in this movie is bad. There is no thing that comes out good. I think the only thing that I could say it was merely interesting was some of the visual effects, some of the cinematography, but even that, certain parts you can clearly see it's a green screen. It's just so stupid. The characters are stupid. What happens in the movie is stupid. Well, I can't even say that what happens in the movie is stupid because nothing happens. It's just a bunch of people that get recruited by our main character that I already forgot the name, and just nothing happens in this movie. We start in point A, and we ended up in point A. There's nothing happening, and I don't know. Just the characters' decisions are stupid. The character development is inexistent. It's just a really bad movie. It's not even well directed. Zack Snyder is not a good storyteller, but sometimes he does make the rare occasion of direct well a movie like even Dawn of the Dead is a great movie. I like what he does. I think 300 is also, it's not a perfect movie, it's not even a great movie, but it's good what he does in that movie. He makes his style and he does it in a certain way that is well, it's fine, but this movie is just awful. And then I ended up the year in the most classic Christmas movie ever, Home Alone. I wanted to watch this movie in the Christmas, but people didn't want to watch, so yeah, whatever. So in the last day of the year, I went to watch Home Alone, and I just love it. It's a perfect movie. Well, it's not a perfect movie. I'm not giving it 10 out of 10 because as I said with Wreck-It Ralph, it's really childish sometimes. So sometimes you just can't take it. Sometimes it's just too childish. But I just love this movie. It's a Christmas classic and it always will be. And this was the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I think this movie came out too long, but yeah, whatever. I love this year for movies, guys, and you're probably already watching in 2024. I recorded in 2023, doesn't matter. I hope you have a great year, and I hope we all have a great year in the cinema. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.